Welcome to So Very Easy. My name is Laura and today I'd like to share with you a 3-stitch sleeve for hanging up a quilt. It really is easy. I have here a finished quilt top. It's already been quilted and it has been trimmed and it's ready for the binding to go on. But before I put the binding on, I want to put a sleeve so that I can hang it up. But I don't want a lot of fuss. So here is the very easy way of hanging up a quilt, and it will take 3 stitches. You will need 3 squares. What size square do I use? I use a large 12.5-inch square. You will need 3 of them. You don't have to use a 12.5-inch square. I use it because I have a ruler and I find it's just easy. I don't have to think about it. You can use a smaller one. A lot of times I like to have all the leftover fabric, sew it together, cut it to the best size that I can get and the closest I can get. And that's just because it gives me leftover fabric. If I ever need a patch, I'm able to have a patch for the fabric. You will need to take your squares. You're going to fold them twice. Point to point is one. Of course, the wrong sides are going to be touching because you want the good sides on the outside. The other one to corner to corner. So what you have here is a triangle. You have a folded edge and you have sort of 2 teepee edges here. It's really easy, and this one's going to be your raw edge. You need 3 of these. I have 3 already made. These are going to sew 2 on the corner, 1 on the center. The ones on the corner, I like to have this teepee fold, put it so that they're facing in. This is going to go right into the corner, and here's the little teepee fold. So there's the folded edge. You will do the same for this side. Here's your teepee edge, and there's the folded edge. This here, you can put it on any side you want. It doesn't make a difference. It's going to go in the center. Raw edge all the way around. So now you can pin this and you're going to be able to sew it. It will actually be encased right in the seam allowance. Give it a pin, sew your seam allowance around, then that part is done. Your next step is your 3 stitches. You're going to have 1 stitch here, 1 stitch here, and 1 stitch here. 1 stitch on each of the points. You're not sewing all the way up. Just 1 stitch on each of these points. You could put a button if you wanted a decorative something. You could put a decorative nice little star stitch if you want. Just make sure you attach to the back of the quilt and that you don't go through the front of the quilt. And it will look, so you won't see it from the front. When you have this done, this is going to give you 2 options for hanging up this quilt. If you decide that you're going to use a rod that has the ends on it, this is a great option for it because the rod will actually go under all of these triangles. Now it's not stitched, but you would just slide it right underneath and it will hang up with the brackets through here. So this is a really simple 3-stitch method. Your end's going to go here, the bracket onto the wall, and they're going to go along. Saying that, if you've decided afterwards that you don't want the ends to show and you want a clean finished border around your quilt, you can just use a flat rod. You still have the same method here. What you will need to do is you will get your other rod, which is not going to show on the outside. The bonus with having these little teepee folds to the inside is the rod will fit in between the teepee rod. So you will go through this one, go through the teepee rod, and this will fold down and then it will slide into here and it's going to fit into there. So it won't actually be through this part of the fold, it's actually going into the teepee fold. And that way you'll be able to hang up your quilt with 2 nails right here so it'll stay balanced. So this is sort of a way to have kind of 2 for the price of 1 in order to hang up your quilt. Do the same thing to the bottom using the 3 squares folded into triangles. They don't need to be this size. You can go a lot smaller. Again, I just use whatever leftover fabric I have. Then you're going to be able to put just a little wooden dowel in there. When you hang up the quilt, the wooden dowel is going to keep that quilt nice and straight, and it's going to prevent the ends from rolling forward or rolling to the back. They're going to be very nice and straight, and it's going to look nice. You could also put another like this on the bottom, and this will actually show in the bottom. So it gives you another option on hanging, so you would have 4 of these showing on the outside. It really makes a nice little decorative display to show your quilt. You know, hanging up quilts it's very exciting. It's no different than someone painting a beautiful portrait or a landscape. It's still a piece of art. It's something you've worked hard for. Enjoy hanging up your quilts. Enjoy looking at them. It's nice because you can change them too. I hope you find somewhere in your house to hang up the quilts that you make. I know I love to hang up mine. It really makes me happy when I walk by and see them. I do change them for different seasons just because, well, I can. I'm glad you've joined me today. And remember, sewing really is so very easy. Stay tuned for next time. Let's see what we're sewing in the sewing room. Bye for now.